All right, shalom everyone, and peace of the Lord to all of you. I just decided to go live to talk about the meeting we just saw between, I don't know how many of you were watching, between Putin and Trump. And, we hope always, we pray for peace, and we hope that Trump will be able to stop this war. However, watching the last the speech of Trump and Putin, Trump looked like he is very unhappy. I don't know if you saw the details. He looked as if he is really coming out of a boxing match, and he looked like he got a bunch of punches on him. Uh, this is not the way usually we see Trump. Maybe he's tired, maybe, traveling, working all day, maybe. But he don't look the Trump the way we know him. And based on what they said, looked like Putin, he made an offer. And the good thing that Trump, he did not say yes or no. I like that because I was afraid he will give him promises. He said he will contact the Ukrainian and he will contact the European, and then we will respond, which is very good. I was afraid he will, act in the behalf of the Ukrainian, and he decide what he wish. But as long this is what we heard from him, he said he will contact NATO and the European.
But especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Yeah. So, he did not make any promises based on what we heard in the conversation. He said he will contact the NATO. It's just a few words. But I can tell that Putin, he want, in exchange of whatever he will give, he want business. The Russian economy is in a very bad shape. The inflation, yesterday the report from the Russian Federation government themselves, it is 13%. Banks are not able to pay their mortgage. To collect their mortgages, and they are not able to pay their interest too. And companies like defense companies who took big loans and mortgages for defense, they are unable to pay back because the Russian government is unable to pay them. And the economy, if it stays this way, maybe 6-7 months more, is going to be a disaster for the Russian people. The price of a grocery is 3-4 times more. The only thing is cheap in Russia now is oil, simply because they have a lot of oil and nobody buying it. I mean, there's only India and China, and the price of oil is very cheap. I'm talking about the Russian oil. They have to sell it for a very cheap price in order to attract countries like India and China. So they have a deficit, and they are unable to make money as much as they spend. War is very costly. It not only costs blood, it costs a lot of money. A little attack, your lunch for 5 minutes will cost you, we are talking about millions of dollars. Every minute, I will not be exaggerate if I say every day they have to spend between $50 to $100 million. So this is a massive amount of money. It's scary, this is not to count the lost. And here I'm not talking about the human being lost, about tanks and property. Like the Ukrainian, they are able to launch attacks into the heart of Russia, and they were able to destroy many factories. So both of them, they are losing massively. not only the Ukrainian, not only both the Russian and the Ukrainian. And the difference is between what happened to Ukraine and that happened to Russia. The Ukrainian getting support from others, while the Russian are left alone because the stupid Putin, he made a big mistake. Even the Chinese, by the way, it's for their benefit if Russia continue in war, because that will weaken Russia, because China is not a friend of Russia. China already stole land. I don't know if we can say stole it, because this is used to be Chinese land. So the Chinese now, they put their hand on Russian land. They took a lease, I think in the year 2000, 1979, I forgot. So they made a lease with the Russian, and they refused to bring the back, or to give them the back when the lease is over. And the Russian and the Chinese, they said, well, this is our land. You took it from us by force. We took it from you by lease. You know, and Putin now don't dare actually to to open this topic with the Chinese, because already he have no friends left. Like who is his friends? North Korea, hungry nation, the Indian. Those people. The Indian government have no friends. The Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is like a hyena. He's like a fly, the death fly. Wherever the dead body is there, he will find Modi there. So he have no friends around him. And I think the whole purpose of this meeting, Putin trying to make like some bubbles, maybe he can breathe, to open, lift a little bit of sanctions on him. In return, he will give some, let us say, compromise. But we don't know really what happened in the meeting. We are just guessing. You see, the excuse of the NATO is just a joke. Like in the meeting, Putin himself, he mentioned there's 4 kilometers different, between us and the USA. So what NATO? I mean, the biggest enemy is just next to you. The one who is scary. Who care about Europe and France? They don't count. The one who's scary for the Russian is the American, and they are 4 kilometers away. In fact, the most of the nukes storages and operation is just close to the USA territory. So if Putin really is worried about the NATO, well, you have, and look, he is coming to Alaska. Alaska is a Russian land, and he's talking about our neighbors. He said to him, "Hello, neighbors." He don't dare to open his mouth, say, well, you know what? This is Alaska. This is our land. How come he do the same? He don't do the same, like in Ukraine, this is our land, this is whatever. But in USA, he go mute, he go silence. I mean, it's an insult actually that he accept to meet with the Trump in Alaska. In case you do not know, until now in Russia, there's in Alaska, there's a lot of Russian, not migrant. Those are the people who live there before the American have Alaska. If you search for Alaska Orthodox churches or Russian churches, let me show you. See, if you go to Alaska and you see those churches, you would think you are in Russia, because this is Russia. It's not a secret, This is Alaska. Those are Russian Orthodox Church. Many of them are built long before uh, this territory become part of USA. All right. But did he dare to mention that this is our land? No. And you notice when Putin he arrived, let us see here. Uh, I think it's on purpose. It's kind of intimidation. A bunch of fighter jets, they fly in the top of the airport, very close down to the ground. Here we go. See? Putin is looking. It's an act of intimidation to show the strength of America. This is not usual. If a president is coming and then fighter jets they fly in the top of them. We know that the fighter jets they accompany. Uh, any president is coming to visit, or even Trump. But they are landed already, and they are in the ground, and they fly in the top of them directly, and they are so close. Uh, so it's an act of intimidation and showing the strength of USA. For sure, the Russian they knew America is not a joke. But I think it's done in purpose. Not, it wasn't an incident. There's nothing happened there as an incident. So the meeting, we don't know exactly what happened, but I think Putin is trying to compromise because he is like almost suffocating. He could not even accomplish anything in the last year. If you check the war map, you will see that I mean he were able to occupy a few villages, a few kilometers. But if you check how much men he lost, how much money he lost, and how much land he gained, you will find what he gained is nothing. So I think Putin he wanted to stop the war because he cannot continue. However, he don't want to say that, and he said to himself, "Okay, this Trump is desperate for peace prize, Nobel Prize. So let us see. Let us throw the hook there, and see maybe we can use him to make it happen. In the same time, we don't sound like we are the one who give up the war, and we don't sound like this war was a big lose for us, even though we won land, but because you see the land alone, especially if nobody will agree. You can take a land, but if nobody recognizes that land to be part of your country, then it's going to hang there. So I think number one, he asked for in this meeting sanctions, lifting all sanctions, or maybe partly, so Russia can breathe, and maybe they will arrive to a settlement of ceasefire temporarily for the sake of negotiation. In return, he will have some sanctions to be released on Russia, so Russia can breathe. And if Russia can breathe, they can continue the war. But I don't think that will help much because, uh, letting sanctions for a few months is not going to be enough to make him breathe much. But I like that Trump, he did not make any promise, even though like I was like wondering why he looked so tired. He looked so not normally the way he is. If you look at his face, he looked like really he is really tired, or like he's coming from a very bad news. Somebody told him something very bad. You know, he don't look the way he is usually. So we will see what will happen, and we pray that peace will happen. We hope so. And about the NATO, in fact, Ukraine, why they need the NATO anyway? Secondly, Ukraine, I think, will do better without the NATO because you are free with your decision, and nobody will control you about what you can have, what you cannot. Same time, the Ukrainian army now became scary. It's not the same army, 3 years ago. If you check in the news, you will find that every single country, almost, including USA, they sign agreement with Ukraine for women protection. And you might think is going to be like the American will producing. No, it is the Ukrainian. The Ukrainian technology is not a joke. They are very smart people. They have a lot of high tech skills. So almost every European countries, France, England, USA, all of them they sign agreement with. We can search for it right now. Uh, let's see. Um, in fact, even America, they make an agreement to buy weapon from Ukraine. It's funny. So now they have war. Uh, Let me see if I can find the news. I need to remember what was the title, because all of us we knew that Ukraine is the one buying weapon from USA, not the opposite, right? Yeah, when you search, you find only like buying weapon to Ukraine. You don't find the news, but I saw many of them. Uh, Let me see if I change. Yeah, I will find it. Maybe I will post it later. I saw, I think Slovakia, they have an agreement with Ukraine. I think Germany, France, and USA. USA companies, you know. Yeah, now when you search, you find only the most popular news. I don't find what I'm looking for. But I'm very sure from what I am saying, uh, especially when it's come to drone, the Ukraine, they became very advanced at making drones. In the beginning of the war, they didn't even have a single drone. And, because they are at war, their drone are very, like in the spot. They are tested, not like other drones in other countries. So like, they make a drone right away, they are going to be tested. Other drones are just a fiction until you try them. We don't know how they will accomplish, how they will be effective at war. Um, yeah, let us see this website. This website, you have to pay $49 to read the articles. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yeah, the Ukrainians are very getting way advanced with their production, and in the future, nobody will dare to attack Ukraine. Nobody, including Russia. And I will not be surprised actually if they produce their own nukes, because they have all the facility to make it. They have the nuclear facility. They used to make nukes before. They give it up. They were stupid. They give it up to the Russian themselves in return of a promise of security. Big mistake. Yeah. So the equipment is made in Ukraine is going to be like top notch, and the future will be totally different. Even they are the first one to make landed drones, sea drones. I mean, we are talking about. You see, the American drones, they are very good, but they are very expensive. So when you lose a drone, you lose a lot of money, and that is different between the American drones and Ukrainian drones, or even some they buy Turkish drones because they are cheap compared to the American. When you buy American drone, you lose a lot of money when you lose it. Some of them even they cost billions of dollars. One drone.